Did you hear the one about the guy that his bump stops were too small and his tire got into his fender and kind of jacked it up a little bit? Yeah, that's the story of my life. So today we are going to fix that. We are putting some new bump stops on. So I'm Mike, that's the Scout, and welcome to the channel. Like I said, so we're gonna be putting some new bump stops on. Right now the Scout, I think, has 2 bump stops, maybe 3, but they are just the little Synergy suspension. They're like 1.5 inch bump stops, and it causes my front tires get into my fenders really bad, especially like when they're turned, and I'm flexed out. The back is not so bad, but these ones are, I think, let me grab a tape. These ones are 4-inch bump stops. I don't know if you guys can see that. They're 4 inches. From the mounting surface to the bottom here is 4 inches. So, whoops. I was gonna set this down my bumper, but my bumper's being worked on right now. I'm working on it, but I ran out of welding wire, so I had to put that on hold just for a little bit until I get some new welding wire. But these bump stops are from Milner Off-Road, and Milner Off-Road is actually in England, and I ordered these 5 days ago. Let's see, what's the order date on here? I ordered these 5 days ago, and they got here from England. That's the part number. I will type up the part number if you want. I got 4 of these. I got 2 for the front, 2 for the back. They're great. They are OEM. I think they're from, I want to say like an ISUZU Trooper, maybe. Don't quote me on that. I'll put the part number in the description and below, and you guys can look it up if you want. But let's get started. Let's measure up or see how these are gonna fit compared to the other ones. I'm hoping I can just put these on the frame, tap a couple of holes in the frame, and set these right in. Really, hopefully very minimal fabrication or anything. So let's get to it and see where we're at. All right, so these are the old Synergy suspension bump stops. You can see they're gonna be all right. I mean, those are in the stock position, but I think we can put these right there, and you can see that gives me about 2 extra inches of bump stop here, which will hopefully keep the tire from the fender and everything. But I'm thinking that might work right there, and just drill and tap a couple of little holes in here, and I think that'll be good. And it looks like both the back, we'll start with the back. This might be the easiest. Let's do that. Perfect. All right, so here's the old bump stop. We'll take that off, and should be able to just put that one right there. I mean, really, this might be quick. All right, I think what I'm actually gonna do, because the drill bits are just too long now. I think I'm gonna unbolt the shackle, lower the axle down a little bit. So let's get on that. Actually, that might work. Yeah, that'll definitely work, actually.
I'm just drilling the holes, stepping up the drill bit size until I get to the correct drill bit size for the 3/8 tap that I'm going to be using. I got to find the right bolts, make sure the tap's the right size. Then I'm trying to find the handle for my tap, and I couldn't find it, so I ended up needing to use my my crescent wrench, my small crescent wrench, which ended up being a huge pain. It took forever, but I mean, I got done, and sometimes you just got to use what you got laying around. So
We got one down, working on the next one.
we're going through the same process on this side. I took the tire off. I marked where I needed to put the new bump stop, and the exhaust actually, it's a 3-inch exhaust, and it actually kind of pushed over just enough that if I would have put the bump stop directly on the frame like I did on the passenger side, the exhaust would have rubbed against it and definitely would have melted the bump stop and just ruined it. So I ended up cutting the old bump stop off and moving the new bump stop out just a little bit away from the exhaust. I bent up just a little piece of aluminum there, just as kind of a little heat shield. I don't think
All right.
I actually need it, but it's there just in case, and it shouldn't interfere with the bump stop.
We got the Scout flipped around. Let's see what we're working with for the bump stops down here. Let's move this. All right, so I'm not going to be able to flush mount the bump stops like we did in the rear. Looks like I'm going to have to cut this bracket off. And this is my old bump stop. Kind of janky. Doesn't work real well. The bump stop. So we go there. That actually looks like it might be the same height. So I might have to build a little spacer. Might have to build just a little spacer to go underneath this to lower it down a little bit to stop the tire from going up. Let's pull this tire off and see what we got going. All right, this is what we got. We're gonna cut this off. We're gonna try and pull the brake lines out of the way. I'm just gonna cut this straight off right here. I'll do the same thing we did in the back. We'll drill a couple of holes in the frame and bolt it up.
I had to get a little creative with my cutting there just to make sure that I didn't cut the stainless steel brake lines, but also that I cut enough that it's easy to remove the brackets. So what I did was cut those top brackets first, kind of bent them off, and cut the lower brackets. They were a little bit tougher to get to, but I ended up just cutting the welds and got to it. And I smoothed out the old welds, smoothed out the area, got all the paint off the area so that I can mark it. And then we just went through kind of the same process as the other sides, lowered the axle, drilled some holes, stepped up the drill bits to the sizes that I needed. I think it was 21/64. I don't know. I just Googled it. Then I did get a new handle for my tap, so I was able to use that. That made things a lot better. Bolts thread right in. No issues there. Time to do some fancy body work.
Good as new.
And the last one, going through all the same process here, cutting the old bracket off, drilling some holes, tapping it, measuring it, bolting it up, getting it all done.
Okay, so we got the bump stops done on the Scout. So let me show you what they look like. Just underneath here. Let's get a light. So, there we go. There's a good angle. Well, you can't really see. Pick up after yourself. Yeah, so got the bump stops done. We'll take it out in a couple of days. We'll try and take it out in a couple of days. Go flex it out a little bit. I got some spots actually just around my house that I should be able to go flex it out in, and actually see if the bump stops are going to keep the tires out of the fenders. That's the whole goal. These bump stops are about an inch longer than the old bump stops, so they should work, but yeah, we'll see. Kind of the closing remark, if you want to call it that, is I just want to say you don't need a expensive shop, you don't need a lift, you don't need all sorts of like air tools and $1,000 pieces of equipment and whatever to work on your stuff. Just get out, use your hand tools. I'm slowly like building up my tool inventory of some power tools and stuff, but just get out, use what you have, and fix what you can. All right, thanks for watching.